Welcome to the new normal, everybody. We are just a week away. I mean, maybe less than a week away now. I guess we're on the countdown for the remember the 5th of November, the biggest day in history, in my life's history of our country. I hope all of you are taking a opportunity to vote early. I think that is a strategy that's probably wise at this time. We're seeing just all the same shenanigans over and over again. I'm curious what Sean thinks about it. I'm sure it'll be bright and cheery. We'll be back with my buddy Satoshi Sean for a new Truth Tuesday, right after this. Welcome back, Sean. How are you?
Terrible.
I knew you'd be all bright and shiny today.
No, I'm really messed up. I went to that reunion, and it was fun. It was really nice. And there's some sad things. Like first, as soon as I went in, I made the biggest ass of myself. So when this friend of mine runs up to me, Sean, how are you doing? That was cool. And then this woman, she's always been like one of the most gorgeous women in the world, and she got married to this dude who's kind of nerdy guy, but was a nice guy. And he's been married for like ever. He was a nurse in the hospital in Gatesville where I used to go. We were like okay friends, but they had like this great marriage, married forever. So I'm like, oh hey, where's Richard? She's like, oh he's not here. It's like, oh, did he have to work? She's like, no. How come he didn't come? I have to ask him. They got divorced, and she's remarried. And have like
you can't be expected to know everybody's personal life from high school.
Literally, their marriage is like the best marriage. Wow. 30 years or something. It's a big deal. And then I felt like a butthead all night about it. But
that is not on you. Sometimes, fake book is called fake book for a reason,
Yeah. And then a friend of mine came up, and he was like, it's like, dude, you look just the same. You look the same, but just shaved your head, It's just you without the hair, man. You look good. He goes, yeah, I got cancer.
Oh, my God.
Just finished the chemo, and then this other guy I was with talking to, he's like, so are you in remission? He's like, no, they don't know yet. They gotta wait 3 months afterwards, and then they do like some weird scan or something. He's like, but they told me I wouldn't be able to eat anything or swallow or do anything, and I'm doing all that. I'm like, well, you're doing better than they said. So prayers, hopefully you are.
Good that he's embracing life and taking an opportunity to see old friends
but
all that.
A woman that I have had a crush on for decades had me hold her purse all night.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
And then she came back, or once she come and get the purse. Here's your purse. She goes, no, I just want to get my lip gloss. You hold it. So I kept it. And then at the end of the night, my best friend Robert, he's there, and she's like, Sean, I really want you to be more engaged with me. I need you to do that. Can you engage with me? And I was like, yeah. She goes, because if you don't engage with me, like on Facebook, the algorithm, they don't put us together. And I wanted them to put us together more. So I want you to be engaged with me. And I looked at Robert, I'm like, is this flirting? He goes, I think this is flirting in 2024, man. I was like, okay, because I don't know for sure.
I want our algorithms to engage.
Yeah, I need you to be engaged with me.
Interesting.
Okay. She said it all like intense and weird. So I'm like, I think this is flirting, but I'm not sure.
You could just ask her. Like, are you flirting with me?
It sounds like a accusatory threat thing, but it was fun.
Well, good. I loved seeing the pictures, so I'm glad you had a good time.
When I left, then
that's awesome.
My friend had this rental car, like Mazda or whatever, and it was dark and it was gravel, and I was not far enough. I was not close enough to the door, so I put my right leg in, and when I went, I saw I pushed
You put your left leg in, and then
and
you
it
turn yourself
my
around.
left leg, and it slid out, and then I fell straight down.
Do the hokey pokey.
My leg like popped and compressed, and he bashed the, and this is like right when everyone was getting out. So then I'm like on the ground, I can't move. I may have torn my ACL, but I was like, oh shit! And Robert's like, I'll just pick you up, man. It's like, you can't pick me up, you're too big. He goes, no, you lost all that weight. And I'm like, it's distribution, dude. So he's trying to pick me up, and he can't. He goes, I can pick up 400 pounds. You're like half that. I'm like, no, you can't. So then I like slide under the car so no one will see me. Like I'm looking at something under the car. Most everyone left, but then these two girls came over. Man, they saw me, and they're like, Sean, we're not leaving till you get up. No, I love you. Blah, blah, blah. So it took me like an hour, and finally like pulled myself up into the car. I'm like, okay, you guys can leave. Thank you. I was like, there came over. I was like, hey, what's happened? What happened? Like, oh, I'm a drug addict, and I just shot a bunch of smack. I'm tripping balls on the ground. You should go. It's so sad. Look at me. I'm a druggie. Go away. But they wouldn't leave. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But
That's
I
terrible.
got in the car, and then but I took Vicodin because I was sore, and I knew I was like, be moving around a lot. Right before it happened, I didn't even think about it. When I got home, it started wearing off, and good God, I stayed up till 6 in the morning just because I was scared to like take the
Yeah,
few steps
that seems
to
like,
bed.
and a leave might be enough next time.
So,
Like,
so I know I'm taking everything. I'm taking ibuprofen, taking Vicodin. I'm just eating turmeric and black pepper and anything for inflammation. But
for inflammation. That's what I was saying. Like, and a leave might be enough.
it is better today. It's still worthless. I can't use the leg, but it's not. I don't want to cry like when I sit up or anything.
I'm sure that was terrible.
So that's better.
Terrible.
So now let's talk about how terrible the world is.
There's a lot of stuff going on. I've been at school all day, so of course I've only seen partial things, but I missed the Mar-a-Lago speech, but like there's breaking news. Elon Musk is claiming that ending the Fed is necessary. I do want to break down. I have a little thread that I would like to share with you guys that I don't think everybody saw. Happy National Cat Day to everyone. Hold on, let me share with you guys a little bit. I have a little unpacking to do for you guys. So this is from the Cherokee Nation as well. Happy National Cat Day. So I don't know if this is true or not. Kamala just withdrew from North Carolina. I also heard that the Wisconsin and one other state, their Supreme Court refused to release RFK from the ballots. But I sent this to Bix and Uncle Cliff and some other friends. Just had some other really good news, but hold on.
I think RFK is so big in the campaign that anyone that would have voted for him instead of Trump knows, not to.
That it would be a distraction, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there's some more. This my husband put this in the yard today just to harass the neighbors and support Trump. Okay, so this was it. Notice the date. Did you guys saw this yesterday?
When dollar status as the world reserve currency.
So this is
and over a longer time horizon, how concerned are you about the potential impact of the dollar status as the world?
And the image on the front, the little sign that says the Treasury falls to the floor, and then watch behind her. Are you guys able to see that? Okay. Here, I'll do a little bit bigger so you can see. Watch when she dips
Russia
down.
Today? How did you get a hold of that? That's against the law, man.
See this?
Russia Today?
1789.
Mm-hmm.
So then, if we go back, So that is when the court decided whether an act of Congress or the Constitution was a supreme law of the land. It's called the Judiciary Act of 1898, which gave the Supreme Court original jurisdiction to issue writs of mandamus, which are legal orders compelling government officials to act in accordance of the law. So they don't get to have their little fiefdoms anymore. It made her bow. Notice she's bowing.
Well, that happened when they got rid of the whatchamacallit, what we talked about with Greg. They took away all the power that they had. The Chevron thing, the Chevron case, they don't have their fiefdoms anymore. They're not allowed to,
Right. But this is, so the other day, Trump said we had to go all the way back to 1789. And then he's been talking about this. He asked, okay, then I have to find my other. Trump mentioned using a law from 1789 in his recent speech. Do you remember the surprise? So the other night he said that he has a surprise with Matt Gaetz and Speaker Johnson. And I said, could that be the October surprise? And then last night, there were emergency response drills conducted in Washington. 12 military helicopters participated in an evacuation training exercise near the U.S. Capitol.
He also said he would pardon Hunter Biden.
Thought it was very interesting.
So he's kind of all over the place there. I don't know. Should have locked up Hillary.
I think he did.
I can understand, because I've been listening to his family, and I think he's very influenced, very close with his family. And I think that he didn't want to be, this is my opinion, this is still naive, my opinion. This is an opinion I'm forming, that everything that we see as horrible, illegal, third world country, fascist, tyrannical, that has happened. The weaponization of the government, the weaponization of the DOJ, going after a president, raiding his child's room, going through his wife's underwear drawer, all these horrible things that could never happen in America that have happened. He didn't want to do that.
Well, and that's a good point, Sean. He did say, you guys, he made it a point on Rogan's interview, and he said it over again at the rallies. He said, I never said that. When they would, the crowds would say, lock her up, lock her up. The only time he's said that is when he was debating her.
He was in
the debate, he said, because you would be in jail. He didn't say he would. He just said, because you would be in jail.
And that was, but he was so hardcore. And then at the minute he won, he's like, I just called Hillary. I told her she's around Greg Ampey.
Because maybe
great lady. And I was like,
so maybe he didn't lock her up. Maybe it was someone else's job to do that.
Well,
to do the investigation.
I can understand, because I gave him no quarter, no leeway. I'm like, dude, you this was supposed to happen. The Clintons are just so evil.
I think it did, but maybe it wasn't his job to do it.
So, but for him to not do it, I can now give him a little leeway and a little bit of a pass on it. Because he didn't want to be the dictator. He didn't want to do all the shit that this administration has done.
Because people wouldn't be open-minded enough to hear the evil.
It actually is, it's never been. It's unprecedented. It's never been done before. But the next election, 2 years later, when the Republicans came back and they got power, they went after everybody, and everyone's like, "Hey, you can't do that," and they're like, "No, you did it. Now here's some of your medicine. You like it?" You know what I mean? They flipped the script and they started. It's dysfunctional. It's very dysfunctional. It's one of the steps before the fall of the empire. Because that's why those lines can't be crossed. They were crossed by the left, and now the right just said, "Hey, we're not going to be pussies and let you just do it to us. It's like we're doing it to you." But the pardoning Hunter Biden, I think, is a terrible, terrible message. Because then it basically validates that there is a class that's above the law. Like it's not small potatoes. It's like giant potatoes. So I think he should, and then the whole peddling influence and everything. It's. I think something will happen. I don't think he's going to pardon him. He might pardon him on like the drug charges or something like that. Something. What's the word? Where it's not like a real thing. It's you just do it for not sentimental reasons, but for show. But he's any of the peddling influence or using that or anything against the country. I think he should have to stand for.
This was another thing going around that, or this is another theory, conspiracy theory going around that supposedly intelligence from the southern border that 9 surface-to-air missiles have been smuggled across. And somebody wrote the New Mexico border. I don't think they mean New Mexico. I think they just meant Mexican border.
That was like 2 months ago.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there is a theory that whether it was 2 months ago or last night, I don't know, but that the target was Trump Force One, and that this was, some deals, and that Hillary has something to do with this, allegedly. I don't know if that is true or not, but supposedly the intended target was Trump Force One, and then the rumors are that that this goes hand in hand with the 17th letter posts about the evil one being arrested on tomorrow, the 30th, and that it will expose that she had something to do with JFK Jr.'s plane being taken down in the same ways. I don't know about that, but that seems that's one of the narratives flying around there as well. And then here is Trump's tweet: big threats on my life by Iran. The military's watching and waiting. Moves were already made by Iran, but it didn't work out. They will try again. Not a good situation for anyone. I'm surrounded. Thank you, Congress, for approving more Secret Service. And an attack on a former president is a death wish for the attacker. So there's that whole narrative that's flying around as well. Sean is gone. That's quite interesting. He'll be back though, you guys. He will be back. He will be back. Let's see. Try to get in as much news as I can. Where was that other big thing with the lieutenant governor? Here it is. Show this tab instead.
We just came from there in the White House, standing in the way. And it's going to mean, and you don't fully realize it, but every one of us here, every American out there is going to have to stand up. We read about it in history. We read about Normandy and all of that, but now we are in it. And so we must spread it. We cannot surrender. And the president said he wouldn't. You all know that it was that attack on the Capitol was done by Antifa, but it was enabled by McConnell, by Schumer, by Pelosi, and the mayor. They knew that was coming. You've all been up there. There were hardly any security police there, and they moved in, and Antifa did their thing, and then the media picked it up. I worked for Fox for almost 17 years. It's disgraceful what they're doing. And unfortunately, Rupert is driving that with his sons, and they have now merged with the rest of the mainstream media. This is serious. This is expanding. We cannot let it happen. We don't have 4 years. As Hong Kong has seen, we do not have time. Time is against us. And Ann and I were just talking to someone about the information that's being released that shows clearly in those battleground states the cyber warfare that was used. We also I found out yesterday that Comey, the former FBI director, sold the Hammer and Scorecard, this top secret program, to the Chinese. So you now have this top secret program that is like your iPhone. It gets in, it's called Hammer. It gets into the voting network. And then it has an application like on your iPhone. You have all those apps. It puts it on and it modulates the voting so they win, not by a large number. And I got a call Tuesday night at 11:30 that the ISI from Pakistan was now in the voting machines in Georgia. I called someone, let them know the two candidates, Loeffler and Perdue, were ahead. I watched. 1 hour later, they were behind.
Why wasn't there more security?
Yeah, there was 30 guards out back there.
It was ridiculous. It was all staged.
You think it was DC, the mayor influenced?
I think she just.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of high.
How does that?
Hell, Mitch McConnell was part of it.
I was going to say.
He was the one that was part of the decision making how much security to have on stand. I think they wanted to have a mess.
I know they wanted to. There's no other explanation.
The moment, like,
But they wouldn't have had a mess with you guys. They had to have also recruited this other group of people. And then I do believe because I don't know if you guys have been caught up in it or not. When you're in mobs, you can get caught up in emotion.
Oh yeah, I was ready to go.
You can get caught up in emotion.
Especially when you're getting tear gas and
So
such.
some of those folks probably just got caught up in the emotion.
Well, they had a guy with a loudspeaker up on that tower. There was a tower and there everything in the back. And he was doing a loudspeaker, hanging everybody on, telling everybody what to do. Like reinforce this side, reinforce that side. Like we're going through over here. Like there's definitely something to it.
I'm sure it's fantastic to watch. Not only good fantastic.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
it was
I'm glad I was there.
it was a surreal moment.
Yeah.
So,
I said, the couch that Chiefs was on, I couldn't do it.
because I didn't see someone get arrested. I didn't see anybody punch a cop. I didn't see anybody a cop punch a person.
I want somebody to tell me that shot that.
Exactly.
I want an answer.
What did she do?
She was breaking through a window, but
But in every other barrier, when people started to go through the barrier, they just got out of the way and let them go. Why in that one case, that one person who never showed his face, they never showed his camera.
also there was a lot of people behind her. How reckless is it to shoot?
And I would hope
It was a
Yeah,
piece.
she was hot.
Is it potentially the biggest setup in the history of this country?
Potentially.
One of the greatest crimes against the American people.
That's why it's so important to get the truth with this. That's what we're working for. And the cover-ups that happened after January 6th is what I'm really after as well.
What about the Republicans involved in those cover-ups? I know it's hard for you to address those things. This is your own party, but this is the reality. I mean,
We're going to go where evidence leads,
no matter what,
no matter what.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah.
Is it potentially the biggest setup in the history of this country?
Like that may be the hardest thing. Not maybe the hardest thing, but one of the hardest things is to see the betrayal inside what some people think is like, oh, well, we're just all right, or we're all blue, or we're all red. And here we are going into voting. And if they start exposing that, wait a minute, Mitch McConnell was working with Pelosi, it may really mess with some people's heads that, wait, I don't get to just pull the lever or go all red down the one side of the ticket. I have to educate myself on who I'm voting for.
I saw this interview for, I think it was CNN or CNBC. And she was going out, she was interviewing people, and she was, like, what do you think about January 6th? And like 90% of the people were like, I really don't know much about it. They're like, well, what about all the, these 42, indictments? And he's like, I mean, I really haven't educated myself on it. It's, like, doesn't it matter? No. I mean, person after person, she was getting really mad. And because people were like, I don't care about that. I know some people got mad and there was like, it just seemed like another, kind of riot like they had in other cities. People got mad and went crazy. It just seemed like, another thing on the news, but I don't remember because it's been years,
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was hilarious. It was really funny because they were like, get mad, do something. And they're like, I don't really know. Like, don't you care? And they're like, oh no, absolutely not. I don't care at all. It's food's ridiculously expensive. This blah blah. I don't. This is what I care about. I thought that was funny. They're just trying to keep it alive, trying to keep it going. And they're it seems it makes me nervous when I don't understand what they're doing. Like the Nazi, I was having a Nazi rally, and it's just like the one at Madison Square Garden. And it's so stupid that it makes no sense, and it doesn't make any sense to anyone. It's literally like when they were saying, Biden's not just sharp, he's the sharpest he's ever been, like a week before.
But I think that's where they're rubbing it in their face. Like, oh, are you going to continue to be my puppet? You're going to continue to go with whatever the mainstream media says and not think for yourself? Then I'm gonna shame you for being so stupid and just being a puppet and not thinking for yourself. Like,
I don't know. I don't. Nothing makes sense until like a year, 2, 5 years later. Then it all comes together, and then I'm like, oh wow, that was a brilliant plan. Wow, you got him. You got everybody. What's a woman? I don't know. Yeah. And now facts don't matter. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, we're not allowed to talk about facts of any kind. I don't know. There's always a plan that they have. They are really, so many steps ahead. But I just don't see how this blatant moronity makes any sense. It's just, I mean, he's going to Madison Square Garden, and so did Hitler. If he ever grew a mustache, even if it was like a big handlebar mustache, they would say that's what Hitler wanted to grow, but he couldn't. It doesn't make any sense.
Interesting. I just think the world is so crazy and upside down. We were having there's voting going on at the church where we do our homeschool co-op, and they've changed procedure for next week for where we're parking, how we're entering the building, who's going to be in the building, documentation of who's in the building, all this. And I'm just like,
What about that? Was it Virginia or someone? The Supreme Court said that they cannot remove the illegals from the voting rolls.
Voter rolls. Is that it?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of
when that goes to the regular Supreme Court, that'll say unconstitutional, but it won't go until after the election. And then after it's verified, you're not allowed to change it. It's not allowed to make a difference. The whole system's just stupid.
There have been a lot of decisions that have come down. It depends on, like, it's hard to keep up with. Like, there's been states that have made decisions, and there have been Supreme Court hearings that have like come after it. Like I was saying earlier, where, like, I guess Robert F. Kennedy was trying to get pulled off the list. I heard a rumor that Kamala pulled herself off of Wisconsin, and that's one of the states where Robert F. Kennedy has been was, I guess, trying to remove himself, but then didn't. So I don't know if they're trying to get less votes for Trump there.
I don't think
it's going to matter.
I don't think it's real. I don't think she would do that. I mean, it's weird how some polls are like he's going to win by like 60%, and then some it's like 3%. But it seems like people are people are getting ready. I saw so many good memes. The screamy lady. That's all. It was her, a picture of her, but it said coming soon, Scream 2, like the movie, which was good. And then Kamala was it like R2-D2, and she was Princess Leia. She's like, Dominion, you're my only hope. That's from Star Wars. Yeah, it's very, very good.
I did hear that when Trump was speaking today that he did mention his really old executive order, one of the first executive orders that he did, the 13818, which blocks the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. One of his statements from Mar-a-Lago that his administration, let's see, I think I've got it.
Under my administration, we will be seizing the assets of the criminal gangs and drug cartels. And we will use those assets to create a compensation fund to provide restitution for the victims of migrant crime, and the government will help in the restoration.
And who would you say is a victim of migrant crime?
Well, that's like art. It's very subjective. My nephew's dead because he had cocaine that was laced with fentanyl that came from the cartel.
Right.
Is he migrant crime? You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah. My husband's brother died from the same thing.
so it's
Well, your whole family's been affected. Our complete economy is affected. We've all had, think of all the people in North Carolina that FEMA's been laid there.
but they said we don't have the assets. So I mean, I guess like a murder, that's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
A migrant came, murdered your kid, your whatever, you're definitely one. But it's so subjective because it's done so much bad stuff. I saw Laura Ingraham, I think, on Bill Maher, and he was trying to make like it was, oh, it's not that bad, and she was like, really, blah blah blah. The administration, they say there's only been 10 million people come in, which is still a buttload, but it's closer to like 30. It's like 27 or something that because they say there's been 10 million illegal aliens that have come in, 10 or 11, but that doesn't include any that got through without them knowing. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They were like,
caravans of people. Gotaways and all the missing children. And yeah, that's just the ones they're still tracking or know about or whatever. Yeah. So I would agree with IAM that we all are hurt, at least financially, if not in other ways. So it's very interesting. Everything is kind of like in place. Did anyone, I also saw a rumor of people saying that they received like EBS noise after Trump spoke at Mar-a-Lago. Did anybody receive a tone, EBS thing? I was at school all day, like I said, so I didn't hear anything.
I didn't
get anything. And I would think my phone would go off even if it was like put on silent, if it was a true EBS. So I think that might have been just wishful thinking from some people. But
also the Joe Rogan thing, the suppression of it is insane. Have you heard about that?
I saw that like somebody was suing Google though. Russia, I believe, is suing Google some quadrillion dollar amount for some of that suppression. I don't know if I can find that link either. I might be able
if you go to YouTube and you type in Rogan Trump, Joe Rogan, Donald Trump, you'll get like CNN reaction stuff, things with like 13,000 views. This thing got 10 million views in an hour. So
it still hasn't been corrected.
No, I watched something last night on it. But it has like 40 million views or something. It's insane.
Let's try it. Let's see.
Rogan Trump. Put it in YouTube. You gotta go to YouTube.
Oh, okay.
In the YouTube search engine. Which YouTube is the second biggest search engine there is.
Let's see. Go to YouTube. And then say
Type in Rogan Trump.
Rogan Trump,
Look, ABC,
ABC, Fox,
Hill.
The Hill, Fox News, news about Rogan Trump, The Hill, Kins, CNN, of course.
Yeah, look at how many views they got.
Yes.
Yes, you scroll down. You scroll. There's clips. Mojo was there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, that's JRE clips. It's not the
Yep.
actual. Still
Megan
not there.
Kelly.
Look how far you went down.
Wow. 495,000 views.
There you go. So this.
They're
this
the first one.
That's way higher than it was.
38 million.
Because I watched Patrick Bet David censoring Trump and Rogan, not pulling up literally what he showed that I watched 23 hours ago is right underneath it. They moved it to above that. That's hilarious.
Wow. You know, but we would expect nothing less. Yeah, I did see an article where Russia was suing Google, so that will be interesting if that goes anywhere and how that shakes out. Oh man. Well, we better get over to your channel. Let's see what's happening. I'm curious to hear what is on your mind. And I can't wait for tomorrow, the 30th. See if Hillary gets arrested publicly. You know, I think she's already been gone for a long time. But thanks to everybody for watching. Please join us on Sean's channel right after this.
Hit the like button.
See you guys there. Bye.